We've been tracking a lot of indicators on this YouTube channel most recently: macroeconomic, monetary policy, on-chain, anything that you can think of. Here's one. Jamie Dimon says the best case scenario for the US economy is now a recession. On the surface, this seems terrible for risk on assets. I'm going to explain why this is a massive warning and probably more likely to be a bullish warning. Hit the subscribe and like on the way in. Let's jump into it. I know there's going to be a lot of just doubters right off the bat, and I want to read something to you as we kind of dig into this. I've read this many times over years. Investors may be surprised to learn that in the last 69 years on average, stocks did worse in the year before a recession began than during the recession itself. And I want to make a note. This should be updated now because this was a few years ago. So really, over the last 72 years on average, stocks did worse in the year before a recession. When we start seeing people like Jamie Dimon start talking about recession, pay very close attention, because this could signal that the worst is over. And that is a very good thing, because if the year before the recession is the worst of it, Bitcoin not looking too shabby. If the year before a recession is the worst of it, total crypto market cap, crypto, not looking too shabby going into the year prior. But let me just really demonstrate this, and then I want to get into shorter term price action for Bitcoin. Obviously, some caution for a throwback, even on the altcoin charts, obviously, caution for a throwback. But let me just demonstrate this for you, okay? I went back and I just looked at, you can go to, an altcoin chart, a Bitcoin chart, total crypto market cap chart that we have here. Recession incoming, right? I went from October 2022 to December 2022, right here. And I just went and looked at headlines from that time. Economists place 70% chance for a recession in 2023. If you're not paying attention to long-term data in terms of recession, that looks kind of scary for risk on assets. This was December 2022. Here's another one. A recession is widely expected. Here's how to prepare. December 2022. Why a global recession is inevitable in 2023. This was November 2022. Well, guess what? How did that play out? Here's Bitcoin chart. Here is October. All these headlines were right here, October to December. Well, here's how it played out. It was literally the bottom for crypto markets. We're getting very similar headlines right now. And I'm not saying we don't see another dip in markets, but I am saying on the macro, everybody, it is time to pay attention. Besides the recession headlines and still the tariff fear that is lagging, which I still think will be a short midterm thing everybody's going to forget about, it's a time to pay attention to the macro data. And there is so much macro data, monetary policy data, as well as just new era for crypto data that is suggesting now is not a bear market time. So I wanted to start with that recession talk and kind of cover that, because I'm seeing a lot of it, I think, starting to show up in my X feed. And I know a lot of people are probably tracking that. But let's go to Bitcoin. Let's do some analysis. And then I want to look at just total crypto market cap analysis. So Bitcoin, what we've been really watching for is this lower high. This is what it looks like on the weekly, that green area. But if we go to the daily chart, we kind of get a sense of it. If we look at the daily chart right now, we have a lower high Fibonacci. We didn't even really enter it. We tested the lower range of the lower high Fibonacci, and we've been consolidating. Going into that range, you can just see we kind of could anticipate resistance. Now we've seen resistance for around a week. Now it's kind of like Bitcoin just floating in outer space, waiting for its next move. What's more likely? Well, we just had the 20-day crossing above the 50, so I continue to kind of put this short-term caution out there, and this is just my view, because I like to anticipate downside, probably more than upside, but the throwback to those moving averages is becoming, I think, increasingly likely. At the very least, what might happen is Bitcoin just continues to trickle sideways, and we just get the moving averages closer to Bitcoin, and then there's a move up, right? So maybe it's not that bad, not that volatile, but I would anticipate some volatility on this chart. One thing I want to make a note of, if you look at the RSI, it's right now just cooling down. It's in this cooling down phase in terms of the slower moving momentum oscillator. The reason why that's notable is just because the way that Bitcoin price action operates, this is what happens. Swing high, boom, consolidation. And during that consolidation, we see the RSI kind of get some type of higher low reset, right? Higher low reset, higher low reset. So a higher low reset and this falling right now is very much in play. And I bring that up because what's the sense of talking all bullish on the short term when there's a lot of room for downside right now for Bitcoin? Revisiting the 80s, the mid 80s for Bitcoin is in play. Be very careful for that. How that translates on the total crypto market cap charts, I want to just show you this. This is altcoins included. This is everything. There's our recession data that we kind of just looked at, all that recession talk back then. What I really want to make a note of, though, is this. Don't forget that these red lines that you see here these red arrows that you see here are very meaningful in terms of crypto right now. The reason I say that is because those red arrows are basically this chart. It is the top of fear in 2024, August, 2020, COVID, and 2018, bear market low. We've reached that same exact area this time. So if we go back to the total crypto market cap chart, we can really take an arrow and just put it here and say, we just reached that very similar area. Now, I know there's no guarantees, but every single time we've reached that fear area on this chart, just remember, it was a bottom for the markets, whether it's a bear market bottom, whether it's a high fear event bottom, which was COVID, whether it's just another high fear event bottom, which was August 2024. We just went through that move. So if we zoom in on the daily chart on all of crypto right now, obviously, it's in play that we're kind of going to hobble around in bottoming out. We did back here, right? So what I mean by that is swing low, high fear. We're escaping. We're going bullish. And then there was resistance right at the 200-day moving average. And then we put in a higher low right at the higher low Fibonacci, right? So rejection, boom, there's our support. Right now, we could be in a very similar move. It could be brutal for altcoins. Swing low, high fear, swing high, 200-day moving average resistance, and then boom, we're about to make a move to $2.5 trillion down to like $2.4 trillion market cap. It could be ugly for altcoins. Bitcoin revisiting, right? We just looked at potentially in the 80s. We have to prepare for these shorter term moves. They're so in play. We've seen these things time and time again. But at the end of the day, I think we really have to, and I try and sum up a lot of these things in very short videos, we have to bring everything into play. And what I wanted to kind of sprinkle in this video is the recession talk, because we're seeing it now. We've seen it before, right? And what I mean by that is back here, 2022, all that recession talk, and it was literally the bottom of the bear market, and crypto was about to go higher. So I think crypto is in a much more healthy spot right now. We have a pro-crypto administration. We have pro-crypto policies. We have a Bitcoin reserve, a strategic reserve in play. We have just a global race for Bitcoin and crypto. So Bitcoin and crypto are in a very healthy spot right now. It's just a matter of patience for me. This is the way I'm viewing the charts. That's all this is. It's nothing else. And at the end of the day, who knows what's going to happen? I just know I'm trying to be prepared for upside and downside. And I appreciate you watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.